I never thought when I took over school safety at the school district that I would be seeing young children getting shot and killed at the doorstep of a school. That would be one of the most difficult things for me to deal with.
What are the biggest issues that juveniles are facing right now in the city?
I think it's a different time, right? I mean, I tell people when, this guy was a kid growing up, there was no social media, probably would stay there, right? The social media has really created this thing with our young people that oftentimes just spirals out of control, right? And so I think I would probably put that as number one. It creates the beefs that we see. They see so much. They see more guns than they have ever seen in the history. We can tell by just the sales of guns, by the number of young people we do get guns from. Now they go online and purchase guns and ghost guns. And so that accessibility now, it creates so many challenges.
Kids have openly told us it's easy to get a gun. Is that true?
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, we have to think it through, and I'm very upfront. I mean, during COVID, a lot of money was flowing into the streets, a lot of money. And so the street is very smart, right? Those guys who work in that illegal space saw the opportunity. There's money, flowing into our neighborhoods, and guess what? We're going to offer up. We've always had these. Now we're going to offer up guns. And then when we create a narrative that we're telling young people it's carry a gun because you're scared. I said, we're the adults, and I get that narrative. I understand a part of it, but it's our responsibility as adults to send a different message.
Kevin Bethel is now. Commissioner Bethel says he's seeing a shift from group guns, where people are sharing weapons, to more teenagers getting them individually, kids as young as 11 years old. This as the department continues to take a record number of guns off the street every year.
I don't walk around with a badge of honor and say, look how many guns our men and women are getting off the street. It scares the hell out of me that we're getting that many guns out of the streets. Even though we focus on juveniles, and they rightfully get a lot of attention, 90% of our violence and our gun arrests are in adults.
The latest numbers reflect that. Of the 274 homicide by gun arrests in 2023, 15 of the arrests were juveniles. For robbery by gun, 168 of the 769 arrests were juveniles. For aggravated assault with a gun, 52 of the 1,098 arrests. And for gun arrests, of the 2,600 arrests, 254 were juveniles. The numbers show 17-year-olds with the highest number of arrests, and as young as 10 years old. 1 arrested for robbery with a gun, 2 for aggravated assault with a gun.
And so part of this, the work has to be also around, what do we do when we have a young person with a gun? How do we change the trajectory of where they're going?
What is the right consequence for a 14-year-old that's arrested with a gun?
That's a good question, right? That's an absolutely phenomenal question. Those consequences have to be significant enough that a child understands the consequences of action. So I'm not saying that child needs to go away, so we put in some cell block up in State Road somewhere, but the consequences has to be a scenario where you're compelling that young person not to engage in that behavior again.
Do you think it's ever appropriate for a child to be charged as an adult, a juvenile to be charged as an adult?
Unfortunately, it's something at that point has to happen for the safety of them and for the safety of the public as well.
Commissioner Bethel says they are seeing most kids are being shot within 2 hours after school, within 2 miles of school, and the majority coming from 5 zip codes in the city. Overall, he says there are 10 districts in the city that represent almost 80% of all city violence, like North Philly.
Part of that work now is, as we build out our strategies, how do we focus in on those specific areas so we could potentially have an impact on those young people. We're going to do everything we can from a policing perspective, but we're going to also call upon everyone else, all of our stakeholders, both internally with the city and as well as external folks, to really help us. How do we change that? How do we help that pastor change those young people to give them hope?